Okay, everybody, welcome back to Joshie.dat. It has been way too long since I've done this, and I have missed it. And I'm happy to be here. I hope you're having a good day and night. In my case, it's nighttime. It is pitch black out there, and nice and chilly. That's why the beanie cap is out. This might be used for the next couple of months, as opposed to the Flareon hat I usually wear when I do these. But I'll probably switch up between, or if I'm lucky, I'll find a Flareon beanie of some kind in the future. But welcome back. Please grab your drink or snack or whatever, or get ready for bed, whatever you're doing. I don't really need to know the specifics of your life, but whatever makes you comfortable. That's the important thing. First things first, I should reassure you that nothing serious has happened with me. There's two big reasons why I have not recorded in over a month, and I should clarify, I did actually do a recording about 2 weeks ago that did not pan out. I think I made some false promises I knew I couldn't keep. I don't know why I even made them, and it just, by the time I could post that video, those false promises couldn't be delivered. So I just completely scrapped the video and waited a couple more weeks to know I was 100% in it. And to be completely fair with you, I'm not 100% right now. That is mostly because I am tired. It's 10:30 at night when I'm recording right now. On a work night, I should not be recording this late, but I really need to get something out for you all, and I'm going to do the best I can to deliver. So the two biggest reasons why I haven't recorded, for one, I didn't get sick, but I was getting a lot of like little minor illnesses like stacked on top of each other, if that makes sense. So it'd be like a cold and then develop into a sore throat. A sore throat would develop into a headache will turn into a toothache, and the toothache turned into mouth pain, and it was a constant, like something was wrong all the time. Not like life-threatening or anything, but it was just one thing after another, and there was no way I could record with the way that was happening. It was just one of those things that your bed keeps coming out that I had to deal with. One of them was even going to urgent care for this hand because I was getting tendonitis in this hand. You might have noticed I was wearing some gloves on my hands in the last recording. If you didn't, no big deal. But I did wear them, and that was why. It was because I was starting to feel some tension in my hands, and it just got worse, and I needed to take a break from pretty much everything computer related. So, but once that went away, it turned into a toothache. The toothache turned into headaches, and then so on and so forth. So I had to deal with that. For the most part, most of that is gone. I'm still dealing with some headaches or migraines, if you will, but those are unrelated, and those kind of come every once in a while, so they're not terrible. The other reason was due to me being a stubborn person and wanting to finish the Josh L0, the grand update that I finally was able to release Sunday, the 26th. That is fully uploaded and ready to go for anyone who wishes to play. I will talk about it more as we go on, but we should probably get going on playing this. And we left off on Game Boy. This is a Josh L2 level that I made that I initially was really proud of because the concept felt pretty cool. And I guess in some way it still is. But it's not the most exciting level, and I never submitted it for any CCLP. So, actually, no, I take that back. I think I submitted it for CCLP 1. but I don't think it was even included in that voting process. But anyway, this level is, of course, designed to replicate an actual Game Boy. So I can kind of hold it up right here, and you can kind of see there's your D-pad, here's your start and select buttons, and then here's your A and B buttons, which are misconfigured on the CC version. I don't know how I made that mistake, but I was a naive 20-year-old when I made this level. So, and then of course you got your barrier and not your barrier, you got your border, and you got the screen filled with bombs, and the middle of that is a blob clone machine surrounded by toggle walls. So the premise of this is to, I think you have to press that, and you just spam this button. Like you mash the A button. The hint says mash the A and B buttons before the battery dies. You mainly just have to do the A button, which is what I intended to be the red button. This is all you do. You just spam clone for the win. And the battery dying is intended to be the time limit. Okay, so once you clone enough, you just enter one of the traps. And you exit down here, and this was supposed to be the headphone jack, but it kind of looks like a charging cord, which it couldn't be because at the time the Game Boy Color was released, there was no plug-in charging available for these devices. It literally is the headphone jack right dead in the center. So that is that level. Probably could have played it last video. Honestly, these next 10 levels are pretty basic. I think there's only one toughie in the whole thing. So now we got My Cabbages, which is My Cabbages. A Joshie 6 level that is it references a gag in the Avatar Last Airbender series of a cabbage stand that constantly gets destroyed by Aang and the gang. I kind of made all these force floors kind of resemble cabbage heads or lettuce heads or something. Even though I know cabbage and lettuce are not the same. And that's that level. See, I mean, we already beat 2 levels in less than 10 minutes, and that was with a 4-minute intro. Compaction. This is a classic Joshie level. That I don't think I ever really talked about like in depth on like why I made this and why I was so fascinated by the concept. So back in my early designing days of this game, the main goal I had was try to make something that I personally never saw someone else make. Or take something that someone did make and like base a whole level around that concept. This level was one of those instances of the latter, which CCLP2's Miscellaneous had a big blob room in the top left corner of the level that you had no reason to interact with. Like, even if the level wasn't busted and you had to do it the intended way, this blob thing had nothing to do with the level. It was just completely pointless. But I was intrigued by the fact you could see one opening that the blobs were giving you, and you had the opportunity to push the block if that open spot was right next to it. And for some reason, I was just so fascinated. Like, why haven't I seen this concept as a full level before? It's such a cool idea. So I made Compaction, which, by the way, this level is worse because it had ice slides initially, and I took them out because of some stupid cook video that Tyler made, but had ice slide when it had ice slides in it. So I took them out to avoid the cook, but you can still cook the level anyway. So that's why this exists. I was fascinated with a unnecessary bit in a official level, and I figured, well, if that wasn't an official level, well, if I just take that one thing, make a whole level out of it, and see what happens. I never submitted this for anything, as far as I remember, and even if I did, this is not interesting at all, in hindsight. I like the way the exit is, though. Like, you're forced to push the block no matter what, and you just, you eventually win, and you just have to wait for the opening. So that part's cool, but yeah, nothing to write home about. Revisiting the prison. And by the way, Compaction was a Josh L3 level, I believe. I think it was one of the first levels I designed after Josh L2 was actually finished. And speaking of Josh L2, this is where this level comes from, and I don't know how I died. I think one of my inputs got eaten. I don't know. But I hope you all are having a good day. I truly missed recording. I just had to get over my little hiccups and stuff, and really needed to finish the Josh L0 Grand Update, which I mentioned is available. It's on CC Zone and the Discord, and I'm really happy with how it turned out, even though it's an update of an older set. Oop. This level is just... This is kind of a weird one. I like the idea of the prisoner from the original game, with how the teeth were chasing you after you broke out, and you had to collect like just 3 random chips outside. I like that, and I made a level where you basically just do that, and that was this level. A little strange. It has a weird ice ring halfway around the thing. I don't know. It's a weird level. It's from Josh L2 as well. So, oh, Nectar Meadow, perfect. Well, I've played this level a bunch of times. I played it when the CCLP4 Let's Play happened. Because this made it into CCLP4. This was my highest rated level in CCLP4 voting, I believe. I think it was like the 5th highest rated level or something. And this level's got a special place in my heart. Like, if I had to pick one level, which is impossible, so don't ever ask me to do it, but if I had to pick one level to as like my all-time favorite, it would probably be this one. For one, it references a location of a dungeon in Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, which is a game that I hold near and dear to my heart as well, even though I've only played it one time. I think that game was such a masterpiece that I never felt the need to replay it a second time. It's one of those games where you ever play a video game and you're just so like in love with the game, and you finally beat it, and you never want to play it again, not because you didn't like it or there was something about it you didn't like, but you just felt like it was such a beautiful game that had a beautiful story, and your experience was just so incredible that you just knew a second playthrough wasn't going to compare to the first. So I never replayed it. I beat it. I think I did a little bit of the post game of it, and then I think Sun and Moon came out a couple months later, or about a year later. And Sun and Moon I don't hold as near and dear to me as I do Super Mystery Dungeon. I could probably replay it now. The game's been out for 10 years, and I don't remember the story that well, so I could probably get away with replaying it. And yeah, there is no real purpose to these hint tiles other than to add to the aesthetics. And that is Nectar Meadow done. Lovely soundtrack the dungeon in the game has, which is what I used to base my level design off of, was video game music that I liked. I would name levels after, other video game places and listen to the music of that game with my level. And I still do that. I mean, I don't think I will ever stop doing that. That's part of the joy I get out of designing Chip's Challenge levels. And definitely got it out of this level. So I'm really glad this got into CCLP4. And it's also in Joshie.dat if you go download it. So I can talk a little bit more about that. We're already halfway through the decade, and we're only 17 minutes in, so I can dilly-dally with a couple of things. So Joshie.dat has a total of 250 levels. 50 of these 250 come from official sets. So I think three come from CCLP1, because I didn't get that many in CCLP1, and most of the ones I did get into it I don't personally care for, so I just included what I think are my three best ones in that set. And CCLP4, obviously this level's in it, and I think like 16 others. And then CCLP5 has the most. I think I put 30 of my 46 levels in that. So most of those are unchanged. I did kind of modify, I think, 2 of them just to be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing or aesthetically updated. But that's it. Sorry about that. I got updated. Thankfully, well, whatever. I got interrupted. Anyway, so that's where 50 of those 250 come from. The other 200 are levels that I previously submitted for official sets, and they come from a brand new set that I intend to submit for CCLP6 when submissions for that open, which aren't going to be anytime soon, for something else I can talk about. But they come from that, and I think there's 223 in their total, but I just picked 200 because I mean, if I'm going to put all 223 into it on top of 50, 273 is a little bit of an awkward total. So I just picked 200 of my favorites of that set and just excluded the 23 that I felt were still worthy of submitting for CCLP6, but not worthy enough to like make people play for a Josh L0 experience. So that's that set in a nutshell. I'm honestly not expecting a lot of people to actually play through it because, you know, it's another one of those kinds of sets. It just has repeat levels everyone's played 100 times already. I might tweak a couple of things to kind of hope you play them, but they're out there, and that's what matters. They're out there, so in case something ever happened to me, my levels are out there. Not that I want nothing to happen to me, but you get the idea. Alright, Arctic Wasteland. I have a cat in my room now. This level, I believe, is a rejects level. And it's kind of like Pier 7, but way easier. There's very little challenge to this level. In fact, I want to say there's an extra block somewhere. Sorry, my boosting skills are a little rusty. Because, so the thing that was holding me up with Josh L0 and why it took so long to release it was because I was doing a actual playthrough. Why is this on the edge? Oh, there's ice corners. Right. I was playtesting the set. And once again, you know, it's like, well, why? You know these levels are possible. What's the point? And, ooh, smashing your teeth with bricks is gonna be a little bit of a toughie. I just wanted to, you know, limit the amount of updates to the set as much as I possibly can. So if anything does get found that needs to be fixed, it's a genuine thing I missed. It's not like an oversight or nothing. I mean, there could be an oversight. But who knows? We'll find out, I'm sure. So smashing your teeth with bricks is a pretty gruesome title, because if you actually did this, I hope you have good dental insurance. But I'm going to be that guy and say that dental insurance is the worst thing you could ever buy. I genuinely believe it's a waste of money. But I guess it depends on who you work for.
Bummer.
Oof, I didn't even see that guy. I think the only thing I don't like about this level is the big cluster of keys around the tooth cloner. I could have been a little bit more creative with that. So, another thing I can talk about, which I guess is a good thing I haven't recorded in a while, is because this clearly didn't happen anytime previously. And that is the next CCLP is more than likely going to be underway very soon, which is a pretty exciting thing. There has been interest within the community to start considering working on what I assume will be CC2 LP2. I think they're, again, another guy I didn't see. What the heck? I know I'm getting old, but wow. Is my vision going that bad? Right now there's just a call for interest in being on this staff. And I did offer to join, more so as like a playtester, or like a casual player mentality, because my knowledge of CC2 levels isn't as vast as I would like it to be. To be completely honest, I don't think it could really get any more vast than what it is. Just because the concept of logic gates and all that jazz just doesn't excite me that much. I don't really have much desire to build like an ultimate logic gate level, or really learn like fancy wiring contraptions you can make with CC2. I think it's cool you can do it, but I don't have any interest in making stuff like that, and I feel like a lot of CC2 design revolves around that in some capacity. But nonetheless, I did see that guy. Nevertheless, I did offer my services to be on this staff. I wasn't on the CC2LP1 staff, so I think being on a CC2 set staff could be interesting. It could be different. You know, you get a whole new set of people to work with. And I'm missing one single chip. Time to play the game of where's the chip? There you are. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. What a bloody mess you made. Good old-fashioned hint. I love it. Alright, Mocha Latte. Another Joshie.dat level. Almost the exact same level placement as it was in Joshie.dat as well. I think it's 79 in that set. Okay, I kind of remember how to play this. But yeah, the services I offered was basically just like I said, casual player mentality, you know, tester, you know, whatever. Nothing big, nothing major. I think I cooked my goose with being on the CCLP5 staff. Oh yeah, we can read this. Up the teleport is the end of the level. You can go figure that section out if you wish, but you cannot return back. I think that's because there is a Sokoban at that point in the level. So this part of the level is what I don't like, and I don't know how I overlooked this, but there's 2 green doors, and you could go through this way. And you could use up a recessed wall and think you're in the right spot, but you actually want to go this way. So there is a little bit of guesswork in that department, and that's my bad. But this level was basically intended to be like a medley of sorts for Joshie 4 specifically. But I don't really remember a lot of the Joshie 4 levels. So if I get picked to be on this CC2 LP2 staff, you know, awesome. If I don't get picked, then, you know, then I don't get picked. I'm not gonna, you know, not gonna stress about it. Okay, so now you can go in here. So I think the correct design choice would have been to put, like, I don't know, put a fire tire tile to prevent that from happening. But I did not do that. And now I'm trying to figure out... Ooh, I trapped the ball. Nice. I like to call that a pro gamer move. Okay, so we want this. And I think you can just do this. I do have to hit that tank button again. But I don't think I need the fire boots anymore, so I could just do this. It's pretty cool that I managed to trap that ball in the toggle doors. That's pretty cool. Yeah, this was the level I expected to take the longest time, because it's a pretty long level, and this section here is kind of atrocious. I mean, kind of like what I was going for here, but I think the problem is it's just too much. So you gotta bridge to all these little alcoves to get this fireball to blow up the bombs in them. This one's not terrible. Let's collect that. And then you have this bottom part, which is a little dumb. Okay, so now... I don't like that. There's a way better way of handling this than what I'm doing, but the method I'm working with is doing it, so okay, so now I gotta go up here. Could just do that. Okay, this is weirdly referencing smashing your teeth with bricks, which we literally just played, so that's kind of cool. Okay, so let's put you right here. Collect these two. Oh, was I supposed to open up the top one? Oh, man. I don't want to replay this tonight. Oh, no. Why? Oh, no, man. And you have to go in here with one chip left. Wow, that is such a bummer. Wow. Alright, I'll see you back there. Okay, we are finally back at this point. So, you're supposed to do this. I should have saw that coming, but I've been blind as a bat tonight. I blame me recording while I'm tired. Okay, now we can do the Silco Man. I hope I don't mess this up. I want to say this wasn't a difficult Silco Man to do. It's an adapted one. Okay, I think you do this. Okay. And then I think you just set them up like that. Cool. Alright, get the key and the chip. And now we can use the blocks to destroy these corner bombs to get these items. And then I gotta go in here to get rid of that red key. And we can exit. Good stuff. That was Mocha Latte completed. Pretty cool level in some aspects. I think some sections could have been better than others. It was just mainly a collection of things I made in Josh L4 and combined them all in one level. Or around that time Josh L4 came out, because I did see some sections I didn't keep for Josh L4, like that beginning with the teeth on the force floor ring. That was a Morton antivirus concept, because I think that was supposed to be in Josh L4 at one point. It might have been L3. I don't remember for sure. But that's that level done, and now we're on to Reconstruction, which is a very boring Josh L1 level with just lots of block pushing. So I guess I can go into more detail since we're playing a boring block pushing level, which we are going to get our fair share of those throughout the Let's Play here. We've been pretty lucky to not have too many early on, but I know a lot are coming up, and I mean a lot. But yeah, I guess my thoughts on CC2LP2 becoming a thing is, I honestly saw it coming. There was no way on earth people would want a CCLP6 right now. And I'm one of those people that don't really want a CCLP6 to happen for a very long time. I don't think CCLP6 should happen until like 2030. Like, started in that year. Because you gotta think, if we're just now starting on CC2LP2, say a staff gets assembled and announced and such like that, naturally a CCLP takes between 2 or 3 years to become released and finalized and all that good stuff. So if we're just starting on CC2LP2 now, and I apologize if that's not the name of it. I mean, I would honestly be surprised if it's named something different. But that is completely up to them, or if I'm on the staff, which I don't think I will be. It'll be up to whoever makes that call. I think Tyler is running it again. I think it was going to be Sickly, who I had the utmost pleasure of working with on CCLP5. But I guess they passed it down to Tyler. Whoa, buddy, that was a close call. Alright. Now we just collect all these other chips along the river. So I'm not really sure where I was going with this level. I think I was going for like reconstruct a bridge, because the toggle wall bridge is closed. I would say this is a case where the level title makes the level sound cooler than what the actual level contents have. There are quite a lot of those in my early days. Alright, now we just press the toggle button and we can exit. Pretty simple level, all things considered. But I definitely have more incentive to design more Flareon 2 levels, and maybe even reach Flareon 3, who knows. Because I think Flareon 2 is halfway complete with 20 levels. If I'm going to stick with a 40 level release like Tyler does, which I don't have to. I could probably combine Flareon 1 and 2 at this point and just make one big set. But I don't know. I think the two sets have their own distinct styles that are clearly different than the other. So,
Bummer.
all right, this is quick course, level 80. So this will definitely be my last level of the night, and thankfully it's a very short and simple one. This is unfortunately a Joshie.dat 2 level, and this is one I made just to fill the level order. Because this was like level 100 something in that set. Got Dave's favorite concept right here.
Bummer.
I don't remember pressing right that many times, but okay, game. We'll go with that. But I have high hopes for what CC2 LP2 could hold. I was honestly really surprised to get as many levels as I did into the first set, because I only had like 40 something levels to choose from, and I ended up getting like over half of them in the set. And that is quick course completed, and that concludes today's episode, my friends. I am beat. I'm up way later than I should be, especially with that mocha latte mishap. If I could have saved 20 minutes of my night by not doing that, but 20 minutes exaggerated. It was like 10 minutes to get back to that point. But that will be it for me. I am back as long as no other health things happen. I am expecting some dental work done. That might put me out of commission on recording whenever that happens. But I'm going to try to pre-record as much as I can. I don't really like pre-recording because I like to stay current with like what's happening in the community and just other general things that are happening. And even tonight, there was lots of things I could have talked about, wanted to talk about, like other video games and stuff. I just didn't, because for one, this decade did not take that long to go through whatsoever, even with that mishap on Mocha Latte. And just coming back after over a month of not recording, you kind of have to talk about like the more important things, like, hey, where were you? I don't owe anyone an explanation. I recognize that, but I do think it's right for me to be transparent to this is what happened, and such and such. You probably at the end of the day, I don't think anyone cares. Joshie's still here. I was still active in the Discord, doing fake random map commands and stuff like that. So everyone knew I was okay. I just was out of commission, and that happens. We're all human. So if you're ever having a bad day and you need to, don't feel the need to be around people, don't be around people, or you don't feel the need to do a task that you feel like you should do, don't do it. This recording stuff is 100% a hobby to do when I have nothing else to do, or if say I do have a bad day at work and you just want to sit right here in this chair with in your own little corner tucked away behind curtains and just talk about whatever. Give people something to watch in the background or whatever. I've explained this, a lot of times now, but it's worth reiterating every once in a while. This is a hobby thing. I'm not making any money doing this, and even if I got to that point, I don't think I would enjoy it, because then it would feel like an obligation. So, that being said, I wish you all a good rest of your days or evenings. I will be back again in a couple of days with another video. I would love to record another one right now, but I do have to go to bed for work. So I will try to record again tomorrow, and which is when this video should be up. So, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching, listening, and being around. And we will see you in the next video. One final thing. That Joshie.dat playthrough I was doing of testing it, it was all done on this little guy. That's why it took so long, because I was doing it on a handheld. That was my choice. I could have done it on the PC. And I think I eventually caved in and did it on the PC, because the tougher levels were hard to do on this thing. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you later. Have a good rest of your day. And please take care. This world is getting crazier and crazier by the fucking minute. I forgot to update the totals, so there you are. They are updated now.